Hi, everyone. We're getting started. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the last session of the 2025 TCS New York City Marathon Training Panel Series. Welcome. Shout out to you all. How many first timers do we have in the room? Right? Quite a number of you. And how many of you have come to another one of these training panel series? Great. Hopefully, you have some new questions for our experts today. Um, Tonight's event will walk us through the logistics of this last week leading up to the race day itself with some of our favorite experts. Before we get started, I'll go through some operational information. So, if you require an assistive listening device and you did not request one, please see my colleagues over to the right over there, and they will help get you set up with one. We also have ASL interpretation this evening. If you need to use the restroom, we have accessible and gender neutral restrooms also to my right, right around this corner. This event is being live streamed on the New York Roadrunners YouTube page. We have auto generated closed captions, and it will also be published later as a recording if you want to review it and go back. We will be taking questions from the audience, both in person and online. But please hold on to your questions for the end of the panel. We have Coach Jen helping us coordinate then. And for those of you here in person, before you leave this evening, be sure to check out the Morton table we have in the back for some goodies over there. My name is Christina Lopez, and I'm a marketing strategist here at New York Roadrunners. But today I'll be putting on another hat and trying to help ask those questions that are keeping us all up at night before the marathon. On race day, I will also be holding it down at the Start Village in the Zen Zone, where I'll be leading some meditations to help relax, recharge, and refocus before the race. For folks in the audience who may be blind or low vision, we'll also do some visual descriptions for myself and the panelists. So I'm a fair-skinned Caribbean woman. I have black curly hair, and I'm, of course, wearing my bright orange TCS New York City Marathon hoodie. To my left, we have Coach Stephanie DiBrita is the director of New York Roadrunners International Tour Operator Program and is also a part-time group training coach at NYRR. Stephanie first fell in love with running after joining her high school cross-country team in her sophomore year. Stephanie considers herself extremely blessed to have been able to blend her professional career with her personal passions. Over the course of 20 years of running, Stephanie has run 11 marathons, including two TCS New York City marathons. Stephanie.
Thank you. So I'll go through my physical description. So I'm an Italian American. I have straight brown hair. I'm wearing like a gray blue long sleeve shirt with TCS New York City Marathon written across in orange, and I have black pants on and very dirty New Balance sneakers that I need to buy.
Thank you, Stephanie. And introducing Coach Steve. Steve Mura. Oh, give it up for Coach Steve. He is the lead for runner training and education at New York Roadrunners. He is RRCA and V.O2 certified, coaching runners in person and virtually every year. In the 10 plus years since he started at NYRR, Steve was a part of the group training launch, created weekly core strategy sessions, and coordinated the NYRR PACE team, which includes pacing for the TCS New York City Marathon. Steve found his love for running and cross country during his first year of high school. He picked up running again later in life and completed his first marathon at the 2010 New York City Marathon. Since then, his love for running has only grown to building community and helping others achieve their goals. You can find Steve pacing many of the NYRR races.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm wearing a cool blue New Balance TCS New York City Marathon jacket. You can go buy it up there. It's a really cool jacket. I recommend it. Brown pants and really white New Balance shoes because I know how to keep shoes clean after races. You know, there's a little red spot I got to clean off, but there's a pink scrub you can do them with. I'll show you later.
Thank No. Race even starts, we start everything at the expo. Stephanie, please tell us more about the expo. What can runners do there, and what's the bib pickup process like?
Yeah, so the expo for our new and returning runners this year, it's going to be at the Jacob Javits Center. So as in years past, we're going to be open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Little different this year. If you ran the TCS New York City Marathon last year, you'll remember that we entered into the right. This year, we're going to enter into the left. So just a little directional change, same venue, same space. When you go in, you'll have all of our specialty groups. So that's going to be our team for climate, our team for kids, our VIP, anyone participating in the Abbott World Marathon Major Age Group Championships. There's going to be a desk over there. Once you walk through that first area, then we're going to have the giant wall of bib pickups. So the smaller numbers will be in the front, and then the larger numbers will make their way numerically along the wall. Also at the um, expo, there's going to be pickup for the Abbott Dash to the Finish Line. So if you are not getting your Abbott Dash to the Finish Line 5K bib tonight, you can get it up until the 29th of October. From then on, we're going to be pickup only at the Jacob Javits Center. At the Javits Center, you'll be able to get your premium for that race as well as your marathon t-shirt. Now, as you go, you pick up your bib, you pick up your t-shirt at the far wall, then you're going to be ushered toward the New Balance store. And if you've never been to the New Balance store at the expo, it is one of the most massive stores I've ever seen. The way the New Balance team lays out their clothes, their shorts, their shoes, teddy bears, like anything you can think of will be there. They do a great job. They have a great team. Once you go through the New Balance store, then you get to the expo floor, and our team at New York Road Runners has put together a beautiful expo floor for you. We're going to have over 100 vendors on the expo floor. So if you're there, first I advise you to go Thursday or Friday because you're going to spend a lot of time walking around. And we want to make sure that we're resting for our race on Sunday. But those 100 vendors are going to be there. We've got our citizen stage. We've got our coaches with their coaches, their pacers, yeah, all that good stuff. But lots of activation going on. We're also going to have hands only CPR training. So if anyone is going to be spectating, or even as a runner and you want to learn what's the proper way to do CPR, we're going to have that training there, which is super important for everyone to just have that basic knowledge. Once you are through the expo floor, then got everything you need. The one thing you can't forget though is your bib. That should be your first stop.
Important note. Don't
Very
forget
important
the
note. Yeah,
bib.
please do not just walk right past.
Yeah. I think I've gone to 3 of our expos so far, and each time it's always exciting. So definitely take a look around. What can runners gain as far as last minute tips and tricks at the expos?
Yeah, so Steph mentioned we have a running lab, it's called, at the expo. It's towards the end of the expo, but you'll definitely see us. We have a huge stage. We're going to have a pace team there. So we'll go over this a little bit later, but the best men and women runners in New York City. The guy clapping right now in the back, he is a pacer for us. 3:30? 3:40, you can find Dave out there. We'll go over pace a little bit later, but one of our best pacers who walked in. Pacers, if you want a pace band, we'll also have those. So I've seen this online a lot of Facebook groups with pace bands. They're bracelets that go on your wrist that tell you what mile your watch should be at, so you kind of stay on pace. They're course specific to the TCS New York City Marathon. So if you want to run a 4-hour marathon, mile 1 will not be 9:09. It might be 10:15 or whatever it says, because you're going up the biggest hill. We'll have those there. Coaches will help you go over that. We'll have course strategies. So every hour on the hour, myself, Coach Ben, some other coaches, we'll be going over the course mile by mile. So you know exactly what to do on the course, where to go fast, where to go slow, where the hills are, the turns, the ups and downs, all that kind of stuff. Every hour on the hour. We'll have the citizen stage there as well, which I love going to. Some inspirational stories, maybe some really cool elite athletes that we can't name who, but they're going to be there as well. And then just, again, super cool partnerships happening there. So I love the expo. It's really where the race weekend starts for me. You get off that 7 train and you just feel the excitement because everyone there is walking over there, or they're walking back with the goodie bags. Like, what'd you buy? Can I buy that? I want that.
What train should look like?
This week training today is what, Thursday? So you're in the tape. We're tapering right now. We're not worrying about our long runs anymore. If you didn't get your last long run, I did not get my last long run. It's okay. You cannot make up those miles. Don't go out and run a 20-mile this week. Follow your plan. Less is more. The goal now is to get to the start line healthy. If you're not healthy, goal is to get healthy. If you're healthy, the goal is to stay healthy. Nothing you do between now and race day will help your race, but it can hurt. So if you're deciding between a hard workout, an easy run, or a day off, if that's your three options, and you're feeling great, easy run, maybe some little tempo run in there or some strides, nothing extremely too hard. We're still running the same amount of days per week. We're not stop running because I want to end up at the start line heavy legged, feel like concrete. So we're still running, and we might do some speed work, little tempo runs, a little bit of strides, just wake up our legs. But we're not going long. We're not going hard. Find someone that you haven't seen in a while. Run with them. Get a cup of coffee afterwards. Focus on recovery. Is this a next week goal?
Stephanie, bag drop. Can you walk us through what participants should do? They want to check a bag in, pick a bag up after the race.
Yeah. If you've elected to do bag drop, your bag will be with your bib when you pick it up. So just double check that. Make sure that your bag is behind your bib. There is absolutely no bag drop at the start. So all of our bag drop is going to be before the race. And it's going to be on Friday and Saturday, both 9 to 5 on Central Park West, between 69th and 70th. So you're going to want to drop that off. It's going to have security. So it's going to be monitored the whole time. However, having said that, don't put your cell phone in there. Don't put a credit card in there. Don't leave your ID. If you're coming from out of town, please don't put your passport in there. These are going to be the clothes that you want to change into right after the race. So maybe it's a dry shirt. If it's cold, not sure what the weather is right now, maybe a pair of sweatpants. For me, I always like to have a fresh pair of socks and a fresh pair of sneakers because I've done enough of those sneakers. And no, don't. No, not these sneakers either.
Oh, I know that, but you bring sneakers. You don't put sandals or something in? You bring actually shoes after the marathon, not slip-on sandals?
I don't like my feet out in the
I don't like your feet out either, but I'm just surprised.
I like my feet covered when I go on the subway.
Okay.
So, but you put something that's going to be fresh, because you don't want to continue to walk in those shoes. But yeah, bag drop is going to be ahead of race day. Like I said, Friday and Saturday, from 9 to 5.
Thank you. So the TCS New York City Marathon this year will have around 55,000 people running and walking together.
I want to also note 69% of those athletes are first-time TCS New York City runners. 69% of the field this year is brand new. I'm sorry if you're going to say that, but I just love that fact.
Insider tips and insights. A majority of these runners will be taking the Staten Island Ferry or a bus from Midtown or New Jersey Meadowlands. Stephanie, we assign runners a transportation time, and we encourage runners to stick to those times on race day. Can you talk about why that's so important?
I would love to talk about transportation. Yes. So you alluded to 55,000 people being in the race. If anyone's been to a sold out Madison Square Garden, that's only about 30,000 people. So think about the volume of human beings we are moving, arguably from one island to another island. It is critical that you take the transportation that is on your bib. Our events department does a great job of building out infrastructure for transporting this many people, from the different points, whether you're coming from New Jersey, whether you're coming from Midtown, or you're taking the Staten Island Ferry. We know when you're supposed to be traveling, and we encourage you and request that you take the mode that you selected, because that is how we built out our transportation plan. If you are coming from New Jersey on the MetLife buses, those buses are taking you right to the Start Village. If you are taking the buses from the New York Public Library, those buses are going straight to the Start Village. If you are taking the Staten Island Ferry, you are going to take a ferry to St. George's Terminal, and then you are getting on a bus to go to the Start Village. So I want to be clear on just like what transportation looks like, where it's going to drop you off. Every mode is about 90 minutes. And that is just because we are moving so many people. On a good day, you might get that way, honestly, if I was driving in my car by myself. So it's pretty regular to rush hour traffic, our transportation timeline, but um, please select your mode of transportation. Please travel on the mode of transportation that's on your bib. That is when we expect you. But it is very critical that you take that mode.
I've seen we'll do question at the end. Sorry, I've seen people post online. You can take people say the ferry's free, anyone can take it, but what happens is those people take not assigned to them. They're not assigned to those buses after the fair, and then they're taking up a seat for someone that we expected to be there, and then it backs up the whole line of everyone who expected to be there. So while the fair is free, those buses are things that we reserve seats for those people who are requested to take the ferry. So it is super important. I know you said this, but just reiterate, like it is because those buses afterwards, we have, let's say 200 buses. And if people take the ferry and don't expect it, now everyone gets backed up on those lines, and we don't like that.
And Stephanie, could you tell us a little bit more about the behind the scenes logistics of moving this many people around and what people might expect on each of these different modes of transportation?
Sure. So, cannot and will not guarantee that there will be bathrooms on the buses that leave from New Jersey, or the ones that leave from the New York Public Library. So just be mindful, however you are getting to those locations, that you use the restrooms beforehand. Um, there's also one thing I also want to point out. There is no parking at MetLife Stadium. So if you are going there, please have a friend or family member drop you off or Uber there, because your car will be towed. So don't park there. And then with respect to the Staten Island ferry, there are bathrooms on the ferry. You also get a gorgeous view of downtown Manhattan. When the sun's rising, it's really nice. Sometimes you get the Brooklyn Bridge. And then you also see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. It's a really, really beautiful view. And then when you get to Staten Island, you are taking a bus, and then again, cannot guarantee that there will be bathrooms on those buses, but which we will get to. There are 1,700 porta potties at the start, so you will have time and a place to go.
Thank you. Yes, we'll do questions at the end. So please hold your question and we'll get to it. Steve, as a coach, you tell athletes don't race before the race. How does getting to the start line on race day affect their overall experience of the race?
Every single year I say, give yourself extra 30 minutes to get to wherever you need to go. We know everyone in this room is local. We know how the subway works on a normal day, and you add 50,000 people to that on a Sunday morning, the subway might have some delays, more people on it than you expect. So give yourself 30 minutes. Someone always shows up at the start line very late because they missed their ferry, they missed their bus, something happened, and now they're sprinting to the next wave because they missed the wave. They're starting to panic. The blood pressure is high and the heart rate's high. That is racing to the race. We want to avoid that. I would rather you be in Staten Island, sitting there with an hour to spare, really bored, but you're there. What we don't want is panic on the subway and saying, I should have listened to Steve. I should have got there on time. I always just plan for things that you're not going to expect. We cannot control the MTA, but we can plan for delays on the MTA. We cannot control the bus. Something happened to the bus. But we can plan to give ourselves extra time on the bus. All that kind of stuff. Once again, just prepare for those delays. Prepare for things that you can't control. And then you're going to be like, but 5 minutes delay, it's okay. I have extra time. You really want to avoid sprinting to your crowds, your waves, just because you decide to sleep in an extra 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Wake up early. No one's sleeping the night for the marathon. It is a true fact. Even the Olympians do not sleep. The more I sleep is more important than Thursday, Friday before the race. No one sleeps on Saturday night, I promise you. We're up going to the bathroom at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. We're all in the same boat. So it's okay if you don't sleep. You can sleep on the bus if you need to. Do not snooze the alarm and get up when your clock says and do your morning routine like you have done for your long runs. Eat your first breakfast, get your clothes on, get excited, but really just be calm in those first few moments or few hours getting to the start line.
That's the perfect transition to the
It's like I read the show. It's like I read what's coming up.
So before the cannon goes off on race day, runners are at the start in Fort Wadsworth on Staten Island. Steve, what do you advise athletes do before the race?
So people always ask, what do you do at Fort Wadsworth? And what is it like? I think it's hard to explain what the Fort Wadsworth is like without being there, but it's a big open field, and there's not like games to do or stores to shop in. You go to your corrals or your colors. If you're in blue, you find the blue. I'm sure you go over this, but you go to your wave colors and you kind of hang out. You sit there, assuming you have the extra time. Ideally, you do. Stay warm, and you do what keeps you calm. I always say, what brings you joy? What brings you confidence? Is it sitting down quietly, visualizing the race? or is it talking to someone from out of country and hearing about their journey? So figure out what you need to do race morning so you can start your race the way you want it to go, because this race is about you, your story, your journey. So just figure out kind of there's no room for, mile warm-ups. You don't need that kind of stuff. It's all about staying controlled, relaxed, and staying warm also in the start villages.
Thank you. And Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit more about which amenities people can expect to find and how to figure out which color wave they are in?
Yeah. So I'm just going to shout out our events team one more time because no one sees the work that they do, but I see the emails and I see the production that they're putting in. And right now we have our events team quite literally living on Staten Island, building out the Start Village. There are 5 miles of fencing that are going to keep you safe, that are going to keep all of our amenities within Fort Wadsworth. Like I alluded to earlier, there are 1,700 porta potties. Steve, you didn't mention this, but pro tip, always bring a roll of your own toilet paper. We will have plenty, but it never hurts to share with your
Wave
friends.
1, you're good to go. Wave 5, bring toilet paper.
Um, but we've got, I just want to be specific because we have a lot going on. We have over 300 gallons of Gatorade, so we stay hydrated. We're going to have over 80,000 servings of water, so don't worry about if you don't fill your water bottle up at home. We have water. We'll be fine. Um, our sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts, or Dunkin' rather, has over 50,000 servings of coffee. So if you forget your coffee at home while you're rushing out, it's okay. We got you. We'll take care of it.
How many hats, the Duncan hats? Do we know how many hats they have? Because that's the important thing you need.
I haven't counted the
Okay.
hats yet. That's
Get
a
the Duncan
Monday
hat.
job.
Get the Duncan hats.
And then this is one of my favorite facts about the Start. While we don't have carnival games, we have 15 therapy dogs. Yes, we can clap for the dogs. Yes, we can clap for the dogs. We have 15 therapy dogs that are there purely to help relieve anxiety, to bring you some calmness. You can also go to the sensory areas, the Zen zone. But if you need a furry friend, we have 15 dogs all throughout the villages. So we have 4 villages. We have the silver charity, the pink, the orange, and the blue. All these amenities are in all the villages. So if you're in blue, don't worry, you're going to have Gatorade, bagels, coffee, dogs. It's all going to be there. The way our Star Village is set up, if you've never been there, you can move from one color to the other and hang out with your friends beforehand. So if one of you's in pink, one of you's is in blue, hang out for a little while. And then when you get closer to your start time, you wish each other luck, you go to your color and you start your race morning. But like I said, I think it's one of the coolest places to be. I remember as a volunteer, as a runner, you get there and it's dark and you don't see anything, and you're like, why am I here? Like it is so early. But then you get this beautiful sunrise over the Verrazano Bridge, over Hudson Bay. It is just, or the New York Harbor rather. It is just such a great feeling because as the city comes alive, race morning becomes alive. You have our partners ABC doing their live broadcast there. You've got the crowd getting more excited. You start to hear more. You hear different languages. You see different people, and really you do make friends. It's a lot of camaraderie is there. But I always bring a magazine, so I always sit there. I try and stay off my phone as much as possible to conserve battery. But I tend to bring a magazine and just hang out and meet other runners. Truly.
If you're like me and you were really excited about the therapy dogs, if you go to the NYC Marathon Instagram page, the team posted a preview of the dogs that will be there, and I am looking forward to meeting Toasty for sure. Um, one thing we've all heard is nothing new on race day, and we may have heard that because Coach Steve loves to say that. So, Steve, can you let us know what that means and how people should dress for the race?
Yeah, I say it a lot because every year you see people running in the race shirt, and I know that shirt looks great on you. It's a really beautiful shirt. It's gonna bring out your eyes. Save it for the after the race because you don't know what that shirt's gonna do to you an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, however many hours into your long run, your race. It's gonna work on your body. It might chafer, it might be small here as you run. So That shirt is amazing. Wear it to celebrate on dinner on Sunday with your medal on, or wear it for your next training cycle for United Airlines NYCF. Something to save for later. Wear what you wore in your training. So if you're out of town, bring your race shirt, your shorts. Bring a few options if you're not sure really what to wear. A lot of stuff at the expo to also buy. You mentioned all those exhibits to buy, New Balance there. Buy the shoes. Definitely buy whatever you want, but save it for after the race. Everything you've been doing for the last 16, 17, 18 weeks, little puzzle pieces you've been putting all together. Oh, this food works. This food doesn't work. This shoes works. These socks don't work. You put all that together. Visualization. I want to visualize this, everything together. And on Sunday, November 2nd, you put the last puzzle piece in, and finally it's all completed. So you don't try a new puzzle all of a sudden November 2nd. Stick to what you've been doing, and that requires what you're wearing and what you're eating. A lot of people ask me, what do you have for breakfast the morning before the race or the dinner the night before to make you go faster or farther? I'm sure one of you are asking, like, what should I have for breakfast? What you did in your training. That is exactly the same answer. So the answers are going to depend. You might have a bagel, you might have bananas, you might have oatmeal. Don't change it. The most boring thing is the best thing you could do, because anything boring means you've done it before. So like I go out to Shake Shack for my long runs. Don't do that if you've never Shake Shack before your long runs. Practice it because it's really good, but do it for next race. So nothing new. Is just make sure everything you're doing is tried, true, and tested.
So now we've covered a lot of the before the race, and now we're here morning of the race. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why we're there. Steve, your third tip that you tell runners is don't go out too fast. Talk about that with this course, as well as maybe a little bit of a course preview.
Yeah, the hard part about it is not going out too fast. That's the hard thing with this course. You have been tapering for 2-3 weeks, depending on your training. Your mileage is down. You've been eating all these carbs. You've been excited. That's what you want. You want to feel like, I call it, a rat in a cage, like you're just ready to go. And you said earlier, we have a cannon that starts this race. It's not a horn, not a start gun, not a whistle. It is a literal howitzer cannon that goes off. And you're going to hear it throughout the morning. And the first one's going to scare you. The second one's going to scare you. And then you just get more excited. And you're like, oh, I'm going to start at 10:30. It's going to go off. And then Frank Sinatra plays. And you just get this
11 times.
11 times, this
11
burst
times.
of energy. And yes, it does play every single wave gets it. So you get this burst of energy, but the first mile is your biggest hill of the day. It's not downhill, it's the biggest uphill of the day. So the last thing you want to do is have that first mile of an uphill first mile be the fastest mile. Take it slow. Last year, I paced the 4-hour marathoner. That's a 9:09 per mile. Our first mile is 10:18 going up that Verrazano Bridge. So take your time. If someone's passing you up that bridge, that's fine. They're either faster than you, so let them go, or they're going out too fast, and you're going to catch those runners later on 4th Avenue, on 1st Avenue, wherever it may be. So let everyone go ahead of you. If you're boxed in, it's okay. Just let them go. Sit back, relax. It'll open up, I promise you. It's the biggest hill of the day. You have another climb later on at Queensboro Bridge. That's probably one of the harder climbs. People love it or hate it for the same reasons. You love it because it's, under the bridge, there's no one yelling your name. It's runners only. But people hate it because it's runners only. It's dark. You're by yourself. But you're by yourself. There's no spectators. Sometimes it was 2014. It was very windy that year. And all I heard was the riffling of the race bibs going back and forth. No other noises. So it's a really special part. But you come off the bridge to this the 1st Avenue sheer tunnel where no matter if you have your name on your shirt, people are going to scout you out in the middle of the street. You put Lewis on your shirt, people will call you out in the middle of the road, find your name. So if you like your name and shirt, definitely add it on there because they'll go shout out throughout the whole race. Every borough brings a different type of energy to you. Brooklyn has its own vibe, all from Bay Ridge to Greenpoint, Manhattan. Bronx lets you know you made it to the Bronx. That is my halfway point. When I get to the Bronx, I say, wow, I just did a 20-mile long run. Now it's time to race the TCS New York City Marathon. You want to get to the Bronx feeling like it's halfway, then you have another gear in you for 10K. Going back in Manhattan, you do have one more hill with you at 5th Avenue. Most people don't know about that hill. If you ran it now, you'd say, that wasn't a big hill. 23 miles into the day, you're going to feel that hill. Know it's there, but it's not anything to do. You change your arms, or your arms do, your legs will follow, so move the arms a little bit more. You're going to slow your pace down, make yourself up that hill. That is your last big climb of the day. We have about 15 different musical acts throughout the whole course, ranging from hip hop to rock to school choirs to marching bands to help you throughout your day. I recommend no headphones, or if you do, put them on low, one headphone, because that crowd is throughout the entire race, and 15 musical acts, specialty just for you, are going to be motivating you throughout the day.
Now I feel like we're all visualizing ourselves going down the course. Stephanie, how can friends and family find runners along the course? How can they see them? And what amenities are there for runners?
Sure. So we'll start with how are your fans going to find you? I always share my phone location with whoever is watching me. And that's just for everything. So they know that I've made it to the start village. They know, and then they know where I'm on the course. But then also where am I after the finish? So I always share my general phone location with them. Um, we now have, so you are all set there. When it comes to physically having your fans watch you along the course. Um, one, be honest with your pace. Don't tell them that you're going to be at the 5K mark in 20 minutes if you've never run a 20-minute 5K.
Don't go out too fast.
Don't exactly. Case in point, don't go out too fast. But try and give them realistic times as to where you're going to be. If they have your location, they'll know that. If they're tracking you in the app, they'll know that as well. But I tend to like to have people in for a variety of places. So don't tell everyone, come find me on First Avenue. Where on First Avenue? But also, do you need people in other locations? So I would say plan ahead where you want them to be. And what's I tend to do this, I forget, as a runner, I show up to the race, I'm like, I don't know what my mom's wearing. Like, have them send you a picture of what they're wearing. They know what you're wearing, but what are they wearing? Um, encourage like a balloon. If they're standing on the crowd, if they've got like a balloon, you could say, oh, we've got a red balloon at the top. Like, you can find us there.
I like those large faces.
Yeah,
Those
like
large faces.
faces,
Those are cute.
signs, things that unfortunately none of us are like 7 feet tall, so we can't see people pretty easily. But like I said, plan. You've been planning your racing, you're planning your race week. Plan how your fans are going to find you along the course. But there's lots of tools, like I said, the app, sharing your location, and then also knowing what they're wearing. So that keeps your mind going while you're running the marathon as well.
Thanks. And a pro tip that I share with my friends is figure out if they're going to be like on your right or left side. So it's not just, okay, I'm on X street. It's which side of the street too.
Nothing is worse when you're running on one side of the street and you see your fans and you're like, "Hi," and you're like, you don't have the energy to run across the street. It's awful. So yes, try and plan as best you can.
Yeah. Steve, can you tell us more about the NYRR PACE team, who they are, where runners can find them, and how they plan to run the race?
Yeah, so my friend Dave left, which is sad, but our Pacers are the best runners in New York City. They have one goal on November 2nd to get to the finish line in their assigned time. It sounds like doesn't sound easy, but that job a little more challenging than it sounds again because our course is not flat. It's not a Chicago, it's not a Sydney, it's not a Berlin. It's very hilly. Every mile is different. So the splits will mimic that. As I said, the first mile is probably one of the slowest ones. They're going to run by effort, we call it. So they're going to run slower up the hill, make up time down the hill. We have a 96% success rate. Pacers are from a 2:55 finish to a 6:15 finish every 5-minute intervals within that. So if you got a website, if you're online right now, you can check out a website or do it after the show. It tells you which corral and which waves our Pacers are in. If you want to run the pacer and they're not near corral, you can move back. Only you can move back. I move forward to find a pacer, but you'll see them out there in the start corrals. We're going to have gigantically oversized signs, and then we're going to run with smaller ones. Some pacers try to dare themselves to run these big ones, and it does work sometimes, but they're going to run the smaller ones. The rest right there, hold the sign up the whole time. Follow them. You don't need to be on their feet, but stay with them the whole time. Their goal, again, is to get to the finish line just under that time that it says. So 4 hours, my goal was ours 3:59:30 because no one wants 4 hours. You want to break 4 hours. Stay with them. If you want to talk to them, they can tell stories. You can talk to them. They'll tell you where water stations are, Gatorade stations, Morton gels on the course, turns, hills. They'll give you all the stuff you need. I just find it's easier to not go out too fast with a pacer because they're going to put the brakes on you, and then just running with other people with the same goal in mind. It's just powerful. You have this big group of people, just like a swarm of fish coming through a course. It is really cool. And the crowd sees the Pacers and they cheer, go sub 4. So they're there for you too in those groups. Again, 96% success rate with these Pacers. They know what they're doing, the best, the best, the best.
Yeah, and I've run with the pace group. Earlier this year, I ran Fred LeBeau with the pace group, and I did with the 135 group, and I did 133. So they are the best. So Steve knows what he's talking about.
Thanks.
No
It's
problem.
a LinkedIn recommendation there.
All right, so our coaches have taken us through the course, and now the moment I feel like many of you may have been dreaming about all this time that you've been training, the finish line, what to expect, what's it going to be like. Stephanie, can you explain what runners get after crossing the finish line?
Yes. I just want to also, before you get to the finish line, make sure that you've hydrated along the course. Steve took us through this beautiful like course strategy of the undulation of the course, how you're going to feel, all that stuff. But we're going to have water and Gatorade from miles 3 through 25, with the exception of 5, 7, and 9. So we want you to know that there's going to be water all along the course. We're also going to have our friends from Morton. They're going to have gel depots. Shout out to Morton, at miles 12 and 18, with both caffeinated and non-caffeinated gels. We love them, but if you've never taken them, Steve,
Nothing new on race day.
exactly. Try it today, try it in a training run, but nothing new on race day. In addition to all the hydration and fueling we're going to have along the course, our strategy team has put together a phenomenal list of cheer zones that I want to shout out to all of them, because I don't think I've seen this many cheer zones ever. We've got 2 cheer zones from MasterCard. We've got Smoothie King, Cook Unity, Maybelline, Michelob Ultra, Peloton, New Balance, Shake Shack. You love
I
Shake
want to go
Shack.
there.
And Citizens is are gonna have cheer zones along the way. So we spoke about um, where your friends and family, your fans, gonna find you. You can have them also stationed by a cheer zone. That's gonna be loud. It's gonna be something for you to visually cue, like, oh, they're at the Citizens cheer zone. Let me look for the Citizens cheer zone. So just wanted to kind of go over that course, because, or the layout of where our hydration, our fueling, our cheering is going to be, because we're going to need love. Let the city love you throughout the course. But once you get through that journey, the 26.2-mile journey, that 42K journey, then you get to the finish line. The first thing you get, eternal glory. Your name's in the finisher list forever. So you get that. Then you get your medal, which many of you saw. Our design team did a great job of creating a tactile medal this year. And then you'll get your recovery bag, and finally you'll get the beautiful bright orange ponchos that I love seeing our runners walk down Central Park West with. Throughout that area, you're also going to have photo opportunities from Marathon Photo. They're going to be on the course, but they're also going to be in the post runner finish area. So make sure you smile. Make sure you've got your smile ready to go for them.
And touching back on the metal real quick, you mentioned the tactile element. So if you haven't seen it, the metal has these ridges, and that is reflective of the course elevation. So it's a really unique touch this year. Steve, from a coaching perspective, runners will feel a variety of feelings.
Yeah.
Can you expand on what that might
Oh
look
man,
like?
finishing especially your first marathon, your first one being the TCS New York Marathon. I remember that feeling. It was a lot of years ago, and I think joy is the first thing you feel like you did it. You did something that made me feel maybe thought you did into. You raised the money. You did the thing. You beat the person you're going to beat. You got the qualification, the Boston qualification, the PR. You did that. Um, as you kind of make your way through life after that, it could be a day or two later that joy is still there, but you also realize I have nothing to train for. And you're like, what am I going to do next Sunday or next Saturday? Yes, I don't have to get up, but I don't have to get up. Like you kind of feel like you're missing something. So I think it's just worth to note that, because a lot of people don't talk about that. And then November 10th, 12th, 15th, 30th happens and you're not training for something and you can get kind of sad or depressed with that. Know that's a real feeling that is legit and recognize that. So like recognize it, find something to fill that void, whether that's a race with us, maybe you tried with United Airlines NYCF drawing, or a different race to help, train for again, or pick up a different hobby, talk to people. So just know that's a thing, but joy, overcoming accomplishments, whatever your why for this race, that why is now checked off. So I think just validate those feelings as you cross that line.
I think that's something that we often underestimate, is that feeling like once your schedule is open again, you don't have to do your speed, tempo, long run. Like it is a great feeling that first week when you don't have to do it, but then you do have that slight emptiness. And that's completely valid. And I'm glad that you brought it up because I think everyone talks about getting to the finish line, but then there's also that what's next. Because you're too sore to go out and run hard. But you're also so used to that because you've been doing it for 16 weeks. So I'm glad that you brought that feeling up.
Along those lines, a little surprise question for you, Steve. I've heard that people get emotional too during the taper moment. Do you have advice for that?
I think emotional in both directions. It can be positive emotions, but also I think taper is one of the hardest parts of training. Your body, you feel like I call them phantom injuries. I don't know if that's a medical term, but that's what I call it. It's like, oh, my knee hurting today. I didn't feel that 2 days ago. Did I hurt it? Should I run the marathon? Should I drop out? Should I do another 20 miles to make up for it? Like all these thoughts go through our head during these last 2 weeks. And I think they're all valid. And I think knowing that you've trusted your training plan for the last 15 weeks, trust it for another week and a half. And again, more conservative now than more aggressive is better. This is the one time it's okay to take more days off if you do. I haven't ran in like 5 days, 6 days because I'm just really, really sore still from Berlin. And you just got to take it easy on yourself these parts and be gracious with yourself.
Thanks. And Stephanie, gone through the course, we've gone through the finish. So now how can people find their people? How can they find their loved ones after the race?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're done with the marathon, you get your medal, your recovery bag, your post-race poncho. You're walking for what it seems like an eternity. But I think the way you can meet up with your family, we do have a family meetup area. However, I find that it's a little crowded.
Don't go there.
It's yeah, I didn't want to outright say that, but it's very crowded. It's also where bag pickup is going to be. So if you're not picking up a bag, there's no real reason to be there. I personally like to meet at a restaurant or a cafe because truthfully, I want to sit down. I want someone to have a seat waiting for me. I would preferably like a snack waiting for me, maybe a beverage.
There's Shake Shack on 55th Street and 7th Avenue.
Shake Shack. But yeah, I always pick a location away from the immediate race area and meet up with my fans over there because that gives them something to do while they're waiting for you. It also secures you, like I said, a seat, a snack, and something to rehydrate with. There's tons of restaurants on the Upper West Side that you can choose from. And if you've shared your location with your fans beforehand, they'll know where you are once you cross the finish line, once you leave the runner walk-off area, and they'll know, okay, they're 2 blocks away, they're making their way, or, oh, she stopped moving, let's go meet her, let's like find out what's going on. So I always say like pick a restaurant, pick something on the Upper West Side.
All right. We are going to slowly start to wind down, but before we slow it down, we'll do some rapid fire lightning round questions for our coaches. So, ferry or bus?
Ferry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ferry.
Verrazano Bridge start or Central Park finish?
It's uphill in Central Park. At Central Park finish, yeah.
Verrazano. That cannon. It's amazing.
Queensboro Bridge silence or the roar on First Avenue?
Queensboro Bridge.
Yeah, I like the silence.
Pretzels or Martin Solid at the finish line?
Morton. Gotcha.
Well, I just like downed a bag of pretzels before, so definitely the pretzels.
Poncho or bag check?
Poncho, 100%.
That poncho is so nice. Everyone gets a poncho, but it's amazing.
Brooklyn crowds or Bronx energy?
Everyone's like, I don't know. Bronx. I need to give it a Bronx. It's so good there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Bronx because they gave me an icy when I ran in
Yeah.
2022. Yeah.
They give you stuff there. When cheers loud, but the Bronx they bring stuff for you.
Porta potty line or hold it in till the race?
Oh no, I'm on the line the second I get into the Star Village, and then when I'm off
Backer.
the line, I go to the back of the line. Yeah.
Bathroom, yeah.
Pink, orange, or blue start?
Mm.
I like the pink. I did that last year. I think it was pacing. Pink's a lot of fun.
Honestly, I'd just be happy getting to the start
So
line.
give you time. Where will they place you?
Exactly. Yeah. Wherever, honestly, I've run on the top, I've run on the bottom. I think both are incredible experiences. Yeah.
Okay, and now time for final advice. So after this, we'll get to questions. So please have them prepared. Coach Jen will come around. But first, Coach Steve, final advice.
Final advice. I think you need to figure out with this race, find different ways to get your win on November 2nd. A lot of us say, my goal time for this race is 4 hours. That's a great goal, but give yourself 10 more. You're going to show up at the start line early is a check for the day. You're going to hydrate at every aid station. That's another check. You're going to wear nothing new. That's another check. Figure out 10 ways so when you get to that finish line, if that goal time doesn't work out, you got 401, 402, 430. You still got 9 other wins for that day. And that is a very successful marathon. I think we only judge the marathon usually in one way, and that's by time. I do not like that. We need to, you're getting to the start line, as Steph said, is an achievement in itself because many people don't make it to the start line. Getting to this race is the celebration for 16, 20 weeks of training. And then just getting that finish line should be more. It should be mean more to you than just an arbitrary time goal. So figure out how many W's you can get in that 26.2 miles. I think it's very valid to have that. Write them down so that when you get home or on your phone on the subway, you can be like, done, done, done. Oh, missed that one. That's okay. Done, done, done. It's such an amazing thing to feel that medal means more to you.
My final piece of advice would be to plan. You spent the last 16, 20 weeks, like Steve said, planning. You've planned every speed workout, every tempo run, every weekend long run. Why would you not plan race week? Plan when you're going to the expo. Plan what you're having for dinner the night before. What are you having for breakfast on race day? I mean, my OCD tendencies tend to shine around a marathon time because
I'm feeling it right in the office. It's a lot.
yeah, there's a lot. But Saturday before the race, all my clothes are laid out like in a pile. I have like my sneakers, my socks, like shorts, sports bra, shirt, like everything is laid out. I mean, I even label my gels because even though I don't pull them out at the right number, but I just, like you said, I check off everything, everything that I can control. I check off. I um, plan your race day. How are you getting to the start? Okay, if I'm going to the Staten Island Ferry, which subways take me there? What is the station I get off? Um, Plan as much as you can because you can't control the weather. And that's the biggest factor that we're seeing lately in marathons is the climate is getting warmer. So how do you control your preparation? How do you control making sure you sleep well Thursday night, Friday night? Planning would probably be my biggest takeaway.
Can we get a round of applause for our coaches? Thank you both. And now we'll open it up to audience questions. Coach Jen will come around with a mic. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Let us know your name, which number marathon this will be for you, and please try to keep the question brief. Thanks.
Third time? Yeah. I'm Alana. It's my first TCS marathon, but I've run several before. Any tips for when you're following a pacer and you're going behind and it gets really tight? And then also at the hydration stations, because I always try to get there, but then I feel like I'm playing catch up to the pacers.
Yeah, it's a good question. For the second part of the questions, aid stations, it's going to depend on the pacer strategy. I was talking to them. Some of them will do, depend on your goal time. Some of them, I'd say 5:15 or 5 hours plus, or like slower, may run walk those aid stations. It's not a run walk gallery method, but it'll make walk those aid stations and then you kind of find them again. Some won't. 3 hours, of course, won't. So talk to your pacer in those crowds. Some might just slow down there. Again, it's just going to depend on the time goal, and you just grab your water and resume with the pacer. But it can be chaotic with 55,000 people. And then the first one was sticking with them. It's hard, like Brooklyn 4th Avenue, as you go to Bed-Stuy, it's very tricky. I think our goal as pacers is to keep the group together as long as possible, knowing we have our time goals. So I tell them, your first 5K should not be too fast. It should be slow. Do not go out too fast. That's our biggest complaint of any pacers or runners that don't go out too fast. So that 5K, especially 10K, should be slower than what the goal time is. But sometimes we're human. That horn goes off and it's exciting, especially on the lower part of the bridge because GPS doesn't really work so well. For a runner, I think it's just knowing that even if they get ahead of you, they will slow down because maybe they have an opening to get around someone. They'll slow down. They'll realize that they're going to, oh, I hit that 10 seconds too fast. I'll slow down to back it off a little bit. Maybe they're going down a hill and they get the effort to get through there and you can't. That's okay. You'll catch up to them and they'll slow down. I wouldn't physically catch up to them, but knowing they'll slow down at some point, they have a huge sign. You'll see them. You don't need to be on your feet. They could be, at that wall. You'll still see them with that sign. So you don't need to be right next to them throughout the whole race. It's okay to bob and weave with them throughout the race.
Hello, my name is Marisa. It's my 15 New York.
15 New York
Yeah,
cities?
so
Nice.
yeah, looking forward for the streaker or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The streakers, yeah, but not the streakers like you think online. It's different.
Yeah, but yeah, so helpful every year. You learn something, and it's amazing how nervous you get. But my question was about transportation. My window of like transportation to my start is like 6 hours. So it's very like. Do you think that in the expo there will be chances that they change the hour of the bus or the ferry?
So we won't change any hours of transportation that's been set up. So there's always going to be the times that are set up for the public library are what they are. The times for the Staten Island Ferry are what they are. You're more than welcome to stop by the transportation desk and see if you can make a change. But we will not change any of the transportation that's already been set up. But you can certainly stop by the transportation desk and see if something is
Okay.
available.
But if they have space, they won't change it in another.
No,
Like,
if there's space, we can make a change.
Okay,
But we're not.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
All we try to do is to get you to the start on
Yeah.
time.
Okay,
Get you to the start for your wave start.
okay. But if you arrive late to your transportation, is that a possibility, or you have to stick
If
to
you
your
are
hour?
if you arrive late, you can take the Staten Island ferry. So like
Okay.
if you miss your ferry, you can get on it.
On
But
the other one.
the
Yeah.
infrastructure that's set up for transportation works well when everyone takes the mode of transportation that they've been assigned.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Cindy Liu, my first New York Marathon. My question is also about the transportation. Thank you. Yeah. I did not know the difference between the bus and the ferry. I think I signed up for the bus, but then I start from the wave 5, so 11:30. So then I have to take the ferry, right? Because the last bus is 6:30.
Whatever is on your bib is the mode of transportation you should be taking.
No, I cannot, because then if I take the bus, it's too early. Then I will just stay in the freezing cold for too long. So I'm not going to do that. No.
I understand. We ask that you take the mode of transportation that's on your bib. We do have a transportation desk where we try and resolve transportation issues, but we can't guarantee that you will make that we can make a change for you.
Then I'll just take the ferry. I mean, it doesn't matter, right?
Like I said, the
Okay.
infrastructure works best when all of the runners are taking the mode of transportation that's on their bib because, like Steve said, we talked about when you take the ferry, you then get on a bus. And so, what happens behind the scenes to kind of pull back the curtain of the marathon is our events team is getting information from the Staten Island Ferry that says there are 500 runners on this ferry. Great. So, that's the data that we had. We pull buses to come up to then queue to get those runners on there. If there are more runners on the ferry than we expected, that means that we don't have enough buses pulled up, and that creates the backlog that we've seen in the past where there's people waiting. So when you've selected your transportation, we've built and we've assigned buses and ferries to spots that we know where the runners are going to be. So if you show up, we expect you to be at the New York Public Library. If you show up at the Staten Island Ferry, yes, you're one person, but if there are 200 single people that just decide to do that, it kind of slows down the whole process. So like I said, you can go to the transportation desk at the expo and we can do our best to resolve your transportation issue, but we can't guarantee any changes because everything is based on availability.
Then I just want to double confirm. So the last bus, they leave at 6:30, or I mean, I much prefer to take the bus, but then one is the last. I heard the last one is only
at
6:30.
6:30.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
You have a question?
Hi, I'm Sophie. It's also my first marathon. Yeah,
She's like, no big deal, guys. I get
yeah.
it.
My question is like when you get to like 30 or 32 kilometers, obviously like you haven't done that in your training yet and your legs are giving in. Like how do you
Mhm.
find that like mental resistance to keep going?
That's what the
Because
Bronx is all. That's what the
that's
Bronx does for you. They get this little
like
magic.
totally unknown. Like that's my thing. I'm like I've never run a
So there was a really good analogy I heard. You don't need to climb Mount Everest to climb Mount Everest. When you climb Mount Everest, no one goes and climbs it and says,
Yeah.
"Okay, now I'm going to climb it."
Yeah,
You do training. You don't need to cycle. What is it? Tour de France to complete
Yeah.
the tour.
yeah.
Same thing, exact marathons. You have built out your first week of marathon training. I'm making up numbers, but I bet your first week, 16, 20 weeks ago, was 10 miles a week. Last week was probably 30, 40 miles a week. You built all of those miles as cumulative miles throughout the weeks and months of your training in rain, training in heat, training in early mornings, late nights, on no fuel, on fuel, missing parties. All that builds up. And now your body hasn't been training as hard. So it's telling you, I'm ready to go. In a week and a half, you're going to feel like a rat in a cage. You have more nutrition in you, more carbohydrates in you in those 3 days because you've been eating carbohydrates a little bit more. And then just the excitement of what you see people doing around you. You're going to see someone stop and give the biggest hug to their parents, and that's going to resonate with you. And then you're going to get to the Bronx, and they know your last long run was there. And so they're going to give that love. We talked about our favorite part was the Bronx because they give something specials in the water out there, y'all, in the Bronx because they come out and they give you that final push for a 10K. That's also why I said your race starts in the Bronx. You don't want to get to the Bronx feeling like I have nothing left. Get to them feeling like you have more in your tank. Even if you don't, even if you're not racing it for it's not a PR for you, but like for a time, even just to have fun, you want to get to the Bronx, like, I still got it. I'm good to go. 10K, I've done that in my first week of training. 10K is not that long. I know it's long when you think about 26 miles. It's 10K. That's what you haven't done. That's okay. And so just think about all the cumulative stuff you've done together and all the hard work you put in. And that's what's going to get you that last 10K or 5 miles of the race. You got it. You have it. Look back at what worked in your training.
Hi guys, this is my third one. I'm looking forward to it. So I did my long run during the nor'easter, so that was fun. Then I got sick, so I pretty much did nothing in terms of running for 5-6 days. So now I'm in a situation where I've got a week left, and I'm kind of panicking a little in the sense of like, what do I do? Do I just trust that I put in their miles, or do I try to run a few more miles than I probably would do it this week to sort of warm myself up for it? How would you do it?
I've been in the same boat. I've been sick for the last 5 or 6 days. I can still hear my voice, you know.
All I've been hearing.
That's all she hears at work. She'll complain. Nothing more than you don't exceed what you've done before. A few runs here and there, 3 days a week, 4 days. I'm just figuring out what you're running. Fine. Keep them easy. Keep them light. You cannot make yourself go faster or farther a week and a half out from the race. It takes about 2 weeks or 10 days to get the effects of a workout in your system. So a workout now is actually not going to help you in 10 days. How many days away from here? It's not going to help you in the amount of time you have left until the marathon. It will help you on November 10th or November 5th or 6th. So you can hurt your race by going out and going too hard, and you hurt your ankle, you hurt your hip, you pull a thing. Keep it simple. You, again, kind of like this, you have had 16 weeks of training. That doesn't go away because you're sick for 5 days. It's still in you. You just got to keep it easy for the last few days.
Hi guys, thank you so much for this. I'm Patsy and I'm a longtime marathon runner. I think this is my 8th New York, but my 20th overall. So I'm pretty psyched. But I made a really stupid mistake. I forgot to sign up for transportation and I checked the site and it's too late. So what do I do?
You got to swim, I think.
Yeah,
You got to swim across
okay.
the water.
That's
Sorry.
easy enough. That's great.
Liz back there is like, that's not a funny joke. Don't tell him to swim.
No, so the part of the reason that I think it was last year, 2 years ago, we built in a transportation desk was to solve issues like this. So we will have the transportation desk. If you have I did not select transportation, or I have my own transportation, but your family member, friend, loved one, fan said, I'm not getting up, I'm not going to help you out. You can change it at the expo. And it is important that you do decide to do that because, again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but infrastructure only works if we know where everyone's going and if it's supported. So just stop by the transportation desk. You'll see one of our Roadrunner staffs, and we'll get you set up with whatever is available.
Thank you very much.
It is 7, but I'm going to hear all night. I'm not going anywhere. So if you have questions, I can hang out.
I mean, I live here, so.
Hello, my name is Edgar, first New York City Marathon, and thank you. My question is on the route, we're going to have a lot of people celebrating like the smallest victories or what they're going to be taking pictures with friends, with family. So I just want to know, like, how do we navigate that as runners, both like to avoid clashing into them, and also particularly some of us when we want to, take pictures with someone who's like out a sign or whatever to support us.
So from a coaching perspective, what we teach everyone in group training is that if you're going to your left or to your right, if there's something in your way, you just put a hand up. So like if I'm running to the side and my fans are over there, I'm putting my hand up, and so that way the person behind me knows something is going on. So that's what I do as a runner when I'm looking to be considerate of other runners. When it comes to people taking selfies, it's kind of like how we live every day in New York, like head on a swivel. Just
walk down Fifth Avenue.
I mean, it's the truth because you're to your point, people are going to be taking selfies on bridges. People are going to be, seeing their friends, and they are going to dart across the street. So until the street opens up, I would say kind of just be alert. And to your point earlier, you talked about not having your headphones in. Yep. From a safety perspective, keeping them low, especially when it's crowded. But Steve, I don't know if you have any other tips.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
When does it open up and become less crowded?
When does it become less crowded on the course? In terms of running or spectators? Running, I think it's a lot of runners everywhere. It's a party all day.
Yes, but I find
she's got the more accurate answer.
I have answers. I would say that once you get into Queens, it tends to open up a little bit. I think 4th Ave is super tight.
We're busy. I see what the question was.
Yeah. So the beginning of 4th Ave, when the two courses are running side by side, and then it merges and it gets really, really tight in Brooklyn. And then I would say in Queens, it tends to start and open up when we run through the industrial area right before.
I took the question completely different. Yes, you were right. It does open up in Queens, I'd say, is when it finally gets you some space. Yeah.
I'm Cindy, and it's my first marathon ever. Thank you. I'm wondering, I've heard on Instagram, people saying, "Hey fans, please wait for us," because I'm in wave 5 and E, which I have no idea because I'm new what that really means. But I feel like I'm going to be the very, very, very last person. So to go out of the day, and I can't move up or you can't move up, you can only move back. So that's just there. So I've seen different things on Instagram, like the fans are gone, the bands are gone, the Gatorade's gone, the water's gone. I don't know. It's on Instagram.
Not real. It's Instagram myth.
Okay.
No.
So what you want to talk about, opening the streets up again, maybe?
Yeah. So of course, the city does come back to life. The sweep bus starts when the very last person crosses the start line, and it's at a 16-minute per mile pace. So there's quite a large buffer. We also have our volunteer team a few years ago created a great opportunity, a great enhancement to our party pack runners, and it's a mobile support. So if there are people that are walking, they will have volunteers that are walking with the Gatorade, the water, once the tables close. As you're walking along the course, things do get shut down. If you are past the 16-minute per mile bus, you may be asked to move on to the sidewalk. However, our finish line is open till 10 o'clock. So plenty of time to get to the finish. I will say there are people out there all day. And I've seen a lot of runners finish the marathon and then go back out and spectate. So you're not going to be by yourself. There's going to be love.
Water, Gatorade, gels are out there. Bands are out there.
And
Yep.
and they still have pacers in the last wave.
Well, 6 hours and 6:15 in ENF, I believe, top of my head. It's on a website. We'll have
Are there
pacers.
like sub 4 in that
They're
wave?
not. They're based off what the best pace of that corral is.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah,
So I'm not gonna have a pacer in my
no.
wave.
So what I recommend that if the pacer is not in your corral or behind you, come to Running Lab. AR coach is going to walk you through it, but we'll have pace bracelets, and so you can grab a 4 hours or 3:55, whatever your time is, and use that to pace yourself, which is totally cool. That's what I sometimes do. And you'll just be safe as you run because you'll be passing some people because most people in that corral are probably 6 hours, 6:15, 6:30, whatever the time is. But we can help you out in the Running Lab if you come by the expo.
Okay, sounds good. And
Yeah.
then charging stations, do you have those at the?
We do not.
Okay, I heard there were some last year, but no. Okay.
You can bring up a charger, and we do have e-recycling places. If you have a place if you bring a charger and you want to leave it there, you can recycle that in the Start Village.
I'm Mel, first time marathon. Excited. Um, so I signed up for Thursday Expo at like 12 and I can't go at that time anymore. Can I go same day at 5 or is that like an issue?
No, it'll be fine. I think I believe at this point you can still change it as in your runner registration portal. You can still change it. But we just like if it's full, then you can still come when that's fine. For us, again, it comes down to just like knowing when the rush of people are going to come. We want to make sure that while we're going to have staff there the entire time, if we notice there's a lot of people coming at 5, which there usually are, we overstaff and make sure that there's a lot of volunteers, a lot of Roadrunner staff. So yeah, you can come by and bring your friends and family. Oh yeah, the expo is open to the public. Yeah, so you can bring friends, family. Absolutely, bring as many people as you'd like.
Hi there, my name is Ashraf. It's my first time running the New York City Marathon.
Woo!
And I notice when I see pictures of the start at the Verrazano, there's an upper level and a lower level. And how do I know which level I'm on? Is it based on my bib number or does it not matter?
So that's a great question. The Verrazano Bridge has 3 different wave colors. So you're either blue, orange, or pink. Pink is on the lower part of the bridge, and blue and orange are on the top part. Orange will be on the left side, and blue will be on the right side. It's just a way to divide 55,000 people on the Start Village. Welcome. This is Jen's run for the day. She missed her run this morning, so she's getting her Strava segment, Run Center.
Hi, my name is Delilah, and this is my first time doing a marathon. I have a question about the hydration vest rule. I have like a Stallman one that has the bottles in the front. Is that not allowed on the course?
You're allowed to have an over-the-shoulder pack with the water bottles or gels in the front. You just cannot have the Camelback, the water bladder in the back. Yeah, so you can definitely keep your water and your gels in the front. Yeah. Mhm.
I saw you, and then I'll come to you.
Hi, I'm Sean. This is my first New York Marathon.
Nice.
I had a question about the village. I was planning on wearing shorts. Are there enclosed areas in case while I'm waiting? Just out of curiosity.
What do you
Like kind of enclosed areas to keep warm? I'm worried about
place to keep warm. No, there'll be like sometimes each village does have tents, but they're not walls. It's kind of just to hang out in the shade if it's sunny. I've seen those around, but and those are just first come first serve, but not like enclosed places for runners. No.
Okay.
If you're overdressed for the Start Village, I'd say bring more than you think you need. Maybe you can, if you use those as a pillow to lay down on or something to sit on, and you can donate those in the Start crowds, and we'll donate all that to Goodwill or to all of us.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, I always bring to the Start Village a clear plastic bag, one that my stuff is not on, so that I can sit, and my butt does not get wet. And then I also bring extra clothes, like I said, a magazine, and then
What magazine do you bring? Like Us Weekly?
no, I bring food and wine.
Food and wine before a marathon. The 2 things you like. You can't have a People magazine.
Travel section.
Runner's World magazine.
Just curious, as of now, it seems like the chance of rain is very low, but
if something changes and there's rain, is there anything that's like important just to like essential to know on the off chance that there is rain for part of the
From a coaching standpoint, and from operations, but from a coaching, I'd say less is more in terms of clothing. A lot of people will wear a rain jacket or a poncho, and you run in that. That just keeps the humidity, their sweat and humidity of the body's trying to get off, and it's a garbage bag on you. A lot of people do like visors or baseball hats just because that keeps the rain out of your direct face. But your pace, your time goals, if it's just rain, it's just rain. We're going to run in rain. We've all done that, I'm assuming, at some point. We've all survived that. If there's big puddles, just be careful. Your feet will get wet, and that's part of the process,
Thank you.
I will say from an operational standpoint, like Steve just said, bring extra socks just in case. But then from a safety standpoint, if the rain is really bad or if there's like thunder, lightning, if anything like that was to escalate, we have a flag system as a race. So it goes from green, which means go for it, full send, to black, which means like the race is stopped. And you'll get push notifications through the app if we need to change it based on weather or based on any other scenarios that may be going on. Also, if it's raining and you see that the wind has knocked stuff over, whether it's you or your fans that are watching you, on the back of every bib is the RCC number. So that's our race command center. And that's where you can report everything. You can report someone cutting the course. You can report that this water station, the volunteers didn't have cups, which they definitely will because we order thousands of them. But that is going to be a number that you want to keep safe. And then, like I said, from an operational standpoint, as the weather changes, we'll update the race appropriately.
Let's do like one more, Jen, with 7:15. One or two more. Two more.
Hello, my name is Fajar. First marathon as well, and
Nice.
I have a question in terms of pacers. We know that New York is kind of rolling up and down. How they are distribute the split? Like, do they run evenly or like negative split, or how do you
It's
run?
called even effort. So that pace is going to vary. So again, I just use 9:09 example. I know that a little bit better. I paced that before. When I ran it last year, my first mile was about at 10:18. 9:09:09, 10:18. It's the biggest hill of the day. I don't remember my split going down, but it's probably 8:30s, 8:45s because we made up that time. Most pacers usually won't even look at their watch until 5K, just because of the ups and downs, and then find a flat and even it out. Say, okay, I'm off by 30 seconds, whatever the math is, and that's normal for the whole course. It's just so undulating. Even First Avenue, it looks flat, but actually First Avenue is slightly uphill. So they're going to run by effort. So each mile is going to vary just a little bit. They'll tell you, all right, mile 15, we're under by 30 seconds, or we're over by 10 seconds. We're right on pace. They'll let you know where you're at. If they're behind pace, don't yell at them. They know what they're doing. The goal is to get you there just under that time. So don't trust what they're doing. You can ask them, what's your game plan? It can be under, over, what's your plan? There are some parts they want to be over pace, maybe a part of the course, because they know it's coming up. So talk to them, know what's going on. Each one has their own, like 3 hours is going to pace different than 6 hours. So talk to them, see what their goals are.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and this is my third New York Roadrunners marathon. So,
Welcome back.
my question is about the bib. Can we wear the bib on our back, or can we wear it on our shorts? And at the start village, I'll be wearing a lot of clothes. It's
Yep.
going to be cold, so it's going to be under. Like,
Yep.
is that okay? I mean,
You want to take it? Or
Yeah.
bib issue, yeah.
So the bib cannot be worn on your back. The bib must be worn on your front. The shirt, the chest, stomach area is where it's made for. It's the safest place to put it, so it doesn't get bent. If you've ever looked at your bib, there's this like really, really thin strip of plastic. That's your tracking. So if you have it on your shorts and you sit down to use the porta potty, or you're at home and you bend it, you run the risk of it breaking and us not being able to track you. So I always encourage the front. You can have lots of layers, but just understand that when you go into Fort Wadsworth, they're going to ask to just see your bib. That is your ticket into the fort. Yeah.
Yeah, so with your throwaway clothes, the bib should be on the shirt that you plan to finish the race in. So if I have this to keep warm, but my white shirt is what's going to be finish the race in, my bib is on that shirt. So that way I can take off this jacket at Start Village. The reason, just if people ask why the front and they can't go in the back, the reason is those bibs don't go through water. And what is our body made of? water. So if you go have the bib on the back of our bodies and you go through those timing mats, it's not going to count as you make it because you're going through water to get through your body, and then it's in front of that. So it's got the front, and then it's at this. It kind of misses when you're on the leg as well. We want it right front and center. Hey, if you want your photos afterwards, the number is what's going to find you on the course, and it's going to work 100% of the time on your chest or your torso. It might not work on your leg or your back.
Thank you, everyone, for joining our last panel in this series. Please check out the Martin table on your way out. And at the expo, you'll have more chances to ask questions to our NYRR coaches and NYRR PACE team.